Hi everyone, how are you today? I'm Kelsey Mashad and I help people, actually emotional eaters in particular, to take back control and just eliminate cravings for good so that they can live a super healthy and confident life. So today's video is about just learning how to, ways that you can just lose weight without going on a diet. So I have 12 science-backed ways that I'm going to help teach you today so that you can incorporate these right away and get started so that you can start living a healthier life and start losing some weight. So going on a diet, it's a losing game. Some research actually suggests more than 9 out of 10 people who try to diet end up failing. Even people who are able to diet successfully, they end up, it's just a tough battle. It's a long road. They go on, it's just a yo-yo back and forth because their attempts, to just make it happen don't end up happening, unfortunately. And then they start a whole new diet and it's just that cycle all over again. So, and what's even worse, if you're somebody who is like severely overweight, going on a diet can actually work against you because it actually slows down your metabolism, and that makes it even harder to lose weight. And again, which kind of makes that yo-yo cycle go all over the place, and that's not fun. So actually extreme dieting and like those juice type cleanses aren't good for long-term results, and it's not a good long-term strategy for maintaining a healthy weight. So, the U.S. actually reported that, those kind of like juice cleanses and like actually the ketogenic diet are totally at the bottom of the list because they're not long-term or sustainable. So, but there are a few simple ways that I can help you today. So number one, you want to stay hydrated. If you really don't like drinking water, and I know some people who don't and they struggle with it. I have some clients who really struggle with it. So what I do is I suggest that you just kind of zest up your water, put some lemon in it or some even fresh oranges, any kind of fresh fruit, berries, even some cucumber, whatever it is you like. Give it some nice flavor without all that added sugar or artificial sweeteners, okay? And also a lot of times you're interpreting your hunger, it's actually thirst when you think you're hungry. So really just grab a nice bottle of water and chug that water and notice your hunger go away. Hi, Callie, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So there was actually a study of more than 18,000 people that was done in the U.S. found that those who drank more water on a consistent basis, they were actually more satisfied and ate fewer calories just from day to day. And they also ended up consuming lower amounts of like sugar and salt and cholesterol than the more dehydrated participants in the study. So there's something to be said for drinking your water. So whatever you do drink, make sure it doesn't have the sugar and it's not, filled with those artificial sweeteners, because many studies have actually found that drinking a lot of like sugary drinks like soda and juice can actually increase our risk of early death. And I know nobody wants that. So the most recent research, they actually did a long-term study of over almost 120,000 people, both men and women, and it suggested that the more sugar people drink, the more likely they were to die. So that's really sad, and it's so preventable. So there's also some evidence that consuming sugary drinks and like the fake sugar may not be any better for our health and can actually lead to weight gain. So hi, Amy, how are you today? All right, so like the artificial sweeteners, that's because it kind of messes with our body. Our bodies really don't know how to process those artificial sweeteners, and our bodies will mess with the way our bodies process fat. A little more research still needs to be done in humans, but they tested this in rats, and this is what they were finding. So next, you want to try to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Hi, Jeanette. This one's tough for myself. I preach about it, but I know it's tough for myself, and I'll admit it. I try to shoot for 7 hours. I usually get 6, but I'm trying, and there's a reason why that it's so important that we get this amount of sleep, because most of us like to think that we can operate on, not really a full night's sleep, But neuroscientists and sleep experts actually say that sleep deprivation is actually killing us, and it makes us more likely to eat unhealthy foods, because if you don't get enough sleep, that causes the body to have cravings. So if you didn't get a good night's sleep the night before and the next day you feel more hungry than usual, that's usually why. Hi, DeLacy. How are you today? Hi, Jeanette. So research actually said that like deprived sleep, you're more likely to eat those high-calorie foods because of the cravings, and then gain weight compared to the people that were more well-rested and usually end up craving the fatty type sugary foods too. So also, next, take time to actually enjoy your breakfast and lunch, and that's a good way to avoid overeating later in the day. So try to eat before you actually get too irritable or impulsive. And I talked about this yesterday in my video about honoring your hunger and fullness. That's where this comes in. So this is, there's actually been research that's been done that people who eat breakfast, they actually stay a little trimmer and avoid eating or avoid putting on belly fat compared to the people who didn't eat in the morning. So eat your breakfast. And more research actually says that people who skip breakfast put on roughly 5 to 8 pounds, more pounds per year. So, that compared to the regular morning eaters. So when we're hungry, we usually want to go for what's the quickest and easiest. So for breakfast, you can just grab a nice yogurt, which is so quick and easy to do, and it's a much healthier option. Okay, so if you're wondering what to start your day with, that's something that you can start your day with. So yogurt, it's a staple for many nutritionists. It's a staple for myself. I have it every day, and you can mix it up with some nice berries, which is really healthy for you, to add some sweetness to it, because a nice plain yogurt is really best because you don't have that added sugar, and you could sweeten it your own way. So with the berries, or if you really want a sweetener, like a monk fruit sweetener or stevia is okay. And you can also add some pumpkin seeds for healthy fat, something like that in there, and or sprinkle in some nice organic raw unsweetened coconut is good too. So it's something I do every day. I love it. It's one of my favorites. So next, you can consider incorporating a healthy mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack into your daily routine if you're not already doing that, because if you have a small healthy filling snack and you're still hungry for lunch, you're just better able to manage your choices at that point. So you're not going to make the poor choices of food selection. So when picking a snack too, you want to avoid those carb heavy or sugary type foods that sometimes we think are healthy, things like granola bars or bottled smoothies. You can make your own smoothie. It's much better, much healthier. Get some whole foods in there, some spinach, some berries, things like that, and get lots of sweetness and lots of antioxidants and nutrients and vitamins. So good. So next, you can also plan ahead. That's so important to be successful, because, go shopping, get your veggies, chop them up, put them in containers, get them ready, because prepping before you're hungry will set you up for success. So when we're hungry, it can be hard to really say no to those processed foods, that stuff that's easy to grab. But if your veggies are chopped up and easy to grab, there you go. You want to be able to pack your lunch and have some nice good foods with you and ready to go, and just stuff that's going to help keep you satisfied and not end up making those poor choices later on in the day. So you could even have things like some vegetables, chopped up veggies, as I mentioned, or even fruit with some nice nut butter or some hummus or guacamole, things like that as a nice snack during the day. And nuts are a really good snack too. And they're actually a healthy fat, and they're a great way to stave off those cravings between meals. So a little handful of almonds or walnuts or whatever you like. They are fatty, but they're a healthy fat. So they're also a great protein source as well, which is awesome. And there was actually a study of over 80,000 people in the U.S. that found that people who actually ate just a little handful of some mixed nuts or even seeds are another healthy fat, each day, they actually reduced their risk of developing heart disease. So, nuts are good. And if you can, another tip is to try to work out in the morning if that's available to you. Studies have actually shown that people who work out in the morning on an empty stomach will burn up to 20% more fat, body fat during their workouts, since they have to use stored up fat as fuel. But in general, of course, adding in any movement at any time throughout the day will actually lead to still give you great benefits, because exercise is shown to prove just, a wonderful plethora of, health improvements, and it can help you stave off depression and keep your heart and your lungs and your mind, in super tip-top shape and healthy, especially as we get older. So, and next, you can eat more filling whole grains like quinoa and brown rice. Those are really, really good for us, and they're really filling because whole grains like oats and cracked wheat and the brown rice and the quinoa that I mentioned, they're a great way to satisfy your appetite and help keep you full. Plus, they're rich in like potassium and iron and B vitamins, so they're so nourishing to your body. And they're full of fiber too, so that helps. The fiber-rich food there actually takes more time for your body to break down, and that leaves you a little bit fuller for longer. So that makes them a really good choice compared to processed and foods that are just stripped of their nutrients, like the white breads and the crackers and white rice, things like that. And fruit, we love fruit. I love fruit. Who doesn't? Do you love fruit? We can add some fruit to our life. Fruits are another great way to incorporate like those hunger satisfying more fiber into your diet. Plus, they're a great source of vitamins and water. It's also a way to get some water in too. And you want to be able to treat yourself sometimes. All of these things we do to be healthy, but you still want to treat yourself because you want to live and you want to feel good and you want to be happy and you don't want to feel deprived. So if there's one thing that there's, dietitians and myself agree on, and I always say do not deprive yourself, because that can end up leading to binging and then just diet failures, and that yo-yo cycle that, we want to get off of. We don't want to be on that merry-go-round or that just that crazy dieting yo-yo cycle. So say if you're even somebody who craves something like some people like a glass of wine, when they get home from work, they've had a long day, they want to just sit down and relax with a glass of wine. Well, that's okay as long as you can do that in moderation. So try having like a 5-ounce glass of wine, which is about a fifth of the bottle. And you can really just try sipping and really enjoying it. Just like you should be eating mindfully, you can sip and drink your wine mindfully. Take your time and enjoy it. So I hope these tips were super helpful for you, and you can really start incorporating them today. So I would love to know. You can report back to me if there's anything that you tried or anything that you noticed that made you feel different, and anything that you would like to try. So I just want to remind everyone, I actually have 2 spots left this week. The week is we're getting there. We're coming to a close of our week almost, but I have 2 spots left for a consultation. So if anybody wants to jump into one of those spots, and we can talk about your own personal health goals and your weight goals and where you're at and where you'd like to be and what you have to do to get there. So you can either just PM me or leave something in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.